and the treadmill is going to burn the most amount of calories, and it's all about counting calories. I thought losing weight was going to fix everything about my life, and it didn't. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Maddie and I'm an online health and fitness coach, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Usually I bring you guys some sort of health and fitness lesson that you guys have requested or a topic that you wanted to learn about. This week I thought I would dive a little bit deeper into my personal health and fitness journey, specifically on disordered eating habits and just negative mentalities when it comes to the gym and food and all the different problems that most people have and go along with, because I have noticed a pattern. This all stems from a conversation I was having in the DMs on Instagram. Side note, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, feel free. My link is down below in my bio. I talk to everybody and everybody. Feel free to DM me on there and just chat about this video, or leave a comment down below telling me about your fitness journey or things that you can relate to on here. I would love to hear from you guys. But besides the point, I was having a conversation with this girl on Instagram, and she was talking about the fact that no matter how much weight she lost, it didn't solve this feeling of sadness and the lack of self-confidence, and there's always something that she wanted to change about herself. And y'all, oh my god, could I relate to that. And that led me into today wanting to tell you guys about the first part of my fitness journey. I've been doing this for like 7 years now. It's way too long to tell in one video, so I'm gonna split it up into 2 parts. But the first part is to kind of give you guys a backstory on how I got started in it in the first place, because let me tell you, working out was not my jam. Nor was eating healthy. It's actually something I really struggled with, and so I can relate to so many people when they come to me and they say that, you know, they struggle with binge eating, they struggle with knowing what kind of foods to eat, they hate going to the gym, all of these things, because I was that girl. And so I'm just gonna start from the beginning. So growing up, I was in every single sport you can imagine, and it wasn't because I liked sports. It was because back in the day at my really small cliquey school, if you weren't in a sport or good at sports, you were a loser, right? That's how all small towns are, I feel like. And so I wasn't good at sports, but I wanted to be a part of some sort of team, so I tried them all. And my longest running sport was competitive gymnastics. If you guys have heard of the whole Larry Nassar, John Geddert scandal that happened for like 5 years, I went to that gym for 10 years. Trauma, and I tell you what. And it kind of sucks because for the longest time, I thought that was an experience that really shaped me and made me dedicated and motivated and driven, all these positive things. But then I sat back and reflected when all the news and scandals were coming out, and I realized, wow, I did hate my life when I was in gymnastics. I was constantly trying to quit. I dreaded going to practice. You would get screamed at and hit and yelled at, and the coaches would throw objects at you. It was just an overall very negative experience, and it taught me to be very untrusting of my body and my own experiences, and to not do the things that I actually enjoyed, and that working out was a punishment. And that really shaped and molded how I viewed physical activity and food. Anyone who's a competitive anything in sports can attest to me when I say that they control everything about what you put into your body, and you will be punished if you do not do what they say. So unbeknownst to me, I was like always on a diet. And that really molds how you view food and your relationship with things when you're a kid. I was in it for 10 years, and my last year was the end of 6th grade. That's like all your formative years. I was an infant. And then we had family drama going at home, so I really based food off of emotions. If I was feeling upset, I went to food as comfort. My family did not have a great relationship with food, and so you had to ask permission to eat things. We had some weird locks on our cabinets. I was the friend who would eat so much at other people's houses, and I got like that weird stigma where people were like, oh, watch out for Maddie. If she comes over to your house, she'll eat all your food. And it was just overall very negative. I had bad associations with food, bad associations with emotions attached to food. That whole feeling where after people started saying things to me, I started realizing that, oh, food's not a good thing. So if I was eating, I would start hiding it. So all these different things started like spiraling on top of each other. And by the time I was an independent person going to college, I had the worst relationship with physical fitness. I wanted nothing to do with it. A terrible relationship with food. I had no clue how to cook for myself. I had no clue what nutrition was. I just knew that I ate to help my emotional state, but then that also made it worse and it destroyed my self-confidence. And so yeah, combine those things together, and my freshman year, instead of gaining like the freshman 15, I gained like the freshman 50. I gained so much weight my freshman year, and I had no clue how to stay physically active if a sport wasn't telling me what to do. So I really struggled with all of that. So what did I do? I did what everybody does, and I started Googling how to lose weight, right? You just type that into Google, how to lose weight. And I found influencers who I thought I admired, who, you know, were on a weight loss journey as well, and who were giving tips and tricks and posting on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And I thought I was going on the right path. Well, I was very wrong, very, very wrong. That basically led me down the path of the all or nothing mentality, and you have to work out every single day or you're lazy and you don't want it enough, and the treadmill is going to burn the most amount of calories, and it's all about counting calories. I tracked every single bite of food that was going inside my stomach, and it was like, and the culture back then was all about pictures and weight, and I didn't have a scale. I was a broke college kid. I know nowadays it's like easy, but I didn't even have a car. So I didn't even have a scale to track my progress. So I did an online calculator for my calorie intake, and it told me I should be eating 1,200 calories, which now that I'm a fitness coach, I know that that is so inaccurate. I'm 5'9". I'm a very tall girl. That is, and for the amount of activity I was doing every single day, it was nuts. But I was in that whole mindset trying to do what the world was telling me was going to work. So I did it, and it worked and too well, and it put me on the exact opposite side of the disorder spectrum, where I was it got me way too obsessed with things. It got me way too obsessed with numbers and over restricting instead of binging. Yeah, pretty soon I was basically on the anorexic side of things, and I had an even worse relationship with fitness, because now all I did was walk on the treadmill for 2 hours and count down the minutes until it's over, and just think about what I wanted to look like, and the fact that every time I looked in the mirror, I was never there. But it was also so confusing, because while I was the most miserable, because let me tell you, I was miserable at this point. Like, I have natural hand tremors because I have a tumor in my brain. Can't really see it right now. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. But my natural tremor happens, but my hands were like constantly like this. My stomach hurt 24/7. Nothing that I ate would not upset my stomach. My hair was falling out. I was not okay. But at the same time, everyone in my life was suddenly giving me so much attention and validation, and it was exactly what I had been looking for my whole life and never got. And so it was this really dysphoric feeling, because I felt so shitty, but everybody was giving me what I thought I wanted. I was even getting people trying to give me like modeling contracts and stuff like that. Yeah, it was very weird, and it makes you feel like you're not valued in society unless you look exactly the way that everybody expects you to. But I remember the first time I saw the change in how people treated me. I was not someone who ever had boyfriends growing up. I was not asked to dances. The only person who asked me to a dance was like my half-brother's brother, because we both didn't have dates, so we were just like, hey, let's go together. Like, I was not the girl who ever got asked out or asked to dances or got taken on dates. And the first time I got like attention and validation like that was when I lost my weight, and it was when I felt the worst about myself. And it is that whole feeling where if you're someone who is just starting a fitness journey or a weight loss journey, just know that if you don't do the mental work there, no amount of physical change is going to make you feel better about yourself. Because no matter how many compliments I got and no matter how much people started treating me nicer, I still felt like shit about myself, and I felt like I didn't deserve any of it. And that's not really something that people talk about. And you're always gonna find something to criticize yourself for, especially with your appearance. And so it's really a lot more to do with finding inner confidence and finding that self-love. And I know you hear that all the time, and it's not what people say it is. It's a lot harder to describe, but it's just finding that trust inside yourself to know that you are your own best friend and you're going to be okay no matter what happens, and no matter how you look, you're going to be happy. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is something I realized when I lost all the weight and I felt like shit and everybody was suddenly being so nice to me, is that I didn't want to feel like that anymore. Because I thought losing weight was going to fix everything about my life, and it didn't. And so at that point, that's when I realized, like, hey, I think I like being active, but I don't like going on the treadmill, and I want to try something different, but I don't know what to do. And if I eat over 1,000 calories, I gain weight. So clearly what Google and influencers are telling me was not true. So I wanted to learn how to do things correctly. So that's when I started going down the road of becoming a health and fitness coach and actually figuring out the science behind all of this stuff. And it took so long to figure out what was myths, what wasn't, get my certifications, all the education behind it. But it taught me so much about myself and what I actually like. And now my goals are so different from when it first started, but I have so much more self-respect, and no matter what I look like, I feel like a completely different individual. But it was crazy because I started gaining all this knowledge that I was doing everything wrong, but it's exactly what everybody online was telling me to do, because I am very type A. If I read something, I am going to reread it over and over and over again until I am doing it exactly how I'm reading it. So I know I wasn't misinterpreting anything. It was that people were telling me the wrong thing. And that's because most influencers don't really know what they're talking about. They're just sharing their journey too. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want you to be cautious about who you listen to if you're somebody who is also new. Because chances are the people you're listening to don't have the credentials and don't actually understand the science behind what they're saying is true. That is part one of my journey. And we're gonna get into part two next time, and that's going to talk about my diagnosis with PCOS and how it changed my entire health and fitness coaching career. And I had an identity crisis and all of that kind of stuff. So if you want to follow along for that, make sure to subscribe. I post new videos every single Friday at noon, so feel free. I would love to have you guys as a part of this community. Feel free to comment down below if you can relate to any of this stuff, because I know so many of you can. And if you are someone who is looking for coaching, feel free to apply. The link is in my bio down below. I'm always looking at the applications and sifting through them and accepting new clients. I love working with you guys, so definitely check that out. But I will continue with part 2 of my journey next week. Bye guys. Oh, it's a bee. I hate bees.